Hi everyone, I'm going to talk to you today about the art of stupidity, what that means, and how people are stupid at the extreme, and given that some of these people are so-called intelligent individuals. Now, I'm going to talk about one Linda Reynolds in this particular instance. Now, I've got to be careful, I guess, what I say, because these individuals that I'm about to discuss, or particularly Linda, are rather litigious individuals. So they tend to make mistakes in their lives, don't want to take responsibility for the mistakes that they've made, and consequently want to blame others for them. This is a trait held by many people who one could describe as narcissistic, psychopathic, and perhaps sociopaths. But I'm not making those labels of any of these people. I'm just suggesting that they have characteristics or traits that may suggest that they lend themselves towards that sort of diagnosis. But in this particular case, I think that Linda Reynolds has become extremely upset about the fact that she has pushed the barrow down the road in relation to Brittany Higgins and has taken steps in order to find a way, I guess, to eradicate or to shift the gaze that rests upon Reynolds for her behaviour in relation to Brittany Higgins being raped, allegedly, even though it has been proved in a civil court, by Bruce Lehman. So what does all this mean? This means that some of these people are just strange, weird, and bizarre individuals who want to clear their own name, and in doing so tend to exacerbate the problem rather than having it just diminish into the distance and fade away. So what does this mean? Well, let's expose ourselves even further. Let's sue those people that we've attacked. Let's make sure that the media is covering it on a day-to-day basis and reporting what a great clown we actually are. So that's actually what's happened. I've got an article from the Saturday paper. I'm just going to read a little section of it to you, which sort of highlights some of the issues that Linda Reynolds is now having to face. Now, what this does mean for her is that the attention is on her. And I guess I can't actually understand why someone would even allow that to happen. Ben Robert Smith comes to mind as someone who has done just that, and as a result of that, lost his case. We now have Peter Dutton attempting to do the same with regard to Zali Steggall, who has defined him as a racist. So when people call you names after you've called other people's names, and you tend to respond in a attacking and aggressive manner, I guess what you're really doing is saying, well, perhaps they're right. Perhaps they are right. So I'm just going to show this particular article. It's some kind of monster, is the quote, inside the Reynolds defamation case. And I'm just going to read just a couple of excerpts from it so that we've got a sense as to actually what's happening here. By the accounts of those nearest to her, Reynolds had been slowly unravelling since the episode went to air, although most of the pressure came from the moment Reynolds lost her temper in her office that night and called Higgins a lying cow in front of several staff members. Now, we also need to remember that Reynolds was the Minister for Defence, and she lost that job, and apparently losing that job was a kick in the guts that she just could not get rid of, and that just seemed to fester and so forth. And then probably, to be fair, exacerbated to the point whereby it was a sore that needed to be lanced. It was pussy and it needed to go rid of. And then this Brittany Higgins situation arose, and she exploded. And as a result of that, she called her a lying cow. It goes on to say, after deciding to tell Senator Peter Wong and Katie Gallagher that she knew about the plan, Reynolds said she now feels extreme guilt for apparently kickstarting the bullying she says led to Kurt Kitching's death. And this is another issue. The other issue is that Kitching was a member of Parliament, fought against Reynolds over many, many issues, and became embroiled in this issue around sexual assault in Parliament House. In extraordinary last days testimony earlier this month, Reynolds said Kitching was so angry with me and she was losing weight, she was getting angrier. I might not be a doctor, Miss Young, but I carry the guilt of that, of telling the senators which led to that, Reynolds told Higgins' lawyer, Rachel Young, SC. And it goes, her account is not matched with the documentary evidence. And the quote from the documentary evidence was, Linda has been badly affected by going from a person who was universally loved and respected to becoming a pariah in the minds of many people. She resigned from being the Minister for Defence, a post that it could be reasonably said she was born for. This was devastating by itself. Now, the question really also is, should we be or feel sympathy for people like Linda Reynolds? Remembering that Reynolds has a position of power and authority that Brittany Higgins didn't have. Brittany Higgins was just a low-end worker within the department. But so she used, because of what happened in Parliament, which was not Brittany Higgins' fault, I hasten to add, and because of the other things that were happening to Reynolds, she exploded. And by exploding, which is often the case, when one gets angry and chooses not to take responsibility for your behaviour, then that often escalates into a place in which you don't want it to go, which is affecting other people, hurting other people, denigrating others, and so on. So it probably says a lot about the character that is Linda Reynolds. And this is all now being played out. And this is what I don't understand. Why would you take an issue like this to court so that it could be played out for the public to see? So it means that you're bringing in a whole host of, both sides are bringing in a whole host of people that are just going to discuss the issue further and further. And why is it, and I don't even understand this, why is it that Linda decided that she was going to go after the payout that was offered to Brittany Higgins? Why would you do that? What person in their right mind would think that that was an appropriate thing to do? Unless you're vindictive. Unless you're hurting so badly that you just want to hurt other people. And what sort of person wants to do that anyway? So there's many questions here, I think, that need to be asked, and we need to think about how we're going to answer those particular questions. We need to do something about it. So remember, if you've got any comments to make in relation to anything that I say, please make them below, and please subscribe to my channel, ring the bell for further notifications, and stand by for further conversations about things that are issues. I'm going to have a conversation actually about Elon Musk and the power of billionaires and the influence that they have, and the fact that Musk is suggesting that we're going to head for a civil war because for some reason that is something that he thinks would be a good thing. So stay tuned for that discussion, which will probably be later on today. In the meantime, take care, look after yourselves, and more importantly, be safe.